This is the first day of the Battle of Chickamauga on Major General difficulty, and you can see my army, all my infantry is at 1250. The Iron Brigade has 1863s. Most of my units, well, most of my units have 1861s in 1st Corps, 2nd Corps. I have some CS Richmonds and Harper's Ferries. A lot of artillery, a lot of very, very good artillery, and I have a division of Cav and JF Browns, which are going to be very, very important in the battle. Have some inventory of 1861s and CS Richmonds and Harper's Ferries and a whole bunch of 1855s. That's a lot of money. And what I'm going to start doing is transitioning right after Chickamauga to 1861s and 1863s. I'm not going to need the 1855s. I have a lot of good weapons in inventory that I'm starting to pile up. And as you know, if you've played this, you get to spend reputation for thousands of really good weapons in the next couple of battles. So as large and as powerful as my current inventory is, going to get even more good stuff very soon. So the first day of Chickamauga goes amazingly well. I'm very surprised how well it goes. As you know, there's a northern objective, a middle objective, and a southern objective where your troops come in. And you can only bring 2 corps into the battle, and I have way more than 2 corps right now. I'm working on building my 3rd Corps. It turns out I probably have, I don't know if I have more units than I need, and I have way more officers than I need. I've never built such a small army before, but my officer corps is way better than my army right now. And I'm not going to build 4th and 5th Corps. I mean, I don't see any reason to do that. You can only bring 2 corps to this battle, and it was very inexpensive to get everybody up to 1250 and ready for this battle. And in the first part of the battle, you're fighting with mostly allied units. So I'll just tell you right now, overall, I get like almost 9-1. But I don't know how many of my casualties are allied units. Anyway, the secret to this particular phase, this particular battle, is make detached skirmishers. The detached skirmishers force the enemy to retreat back across the bridge and also keeps the enemy cav away from your artillery and from hitting your infantry in the rear and causing them to rout. Basically, if you keep detaching skirmishers and then reattaching them to the unit, then detach fresh skirmishers, you can sit here all day and just tear the enemy up. I was really surprised how easy this was. Even when all of his cav shows up behind this group, and it does at one point, it shows up behind this group, I'm still able to protect the artillery. I move the artillery into the woods because it's easier to protect there. And the artillery just fires away the entire battle and does a good job. And this position holds wonderfully and inflicts a ton of casualties on the enemy. In the north, I decided to take up a different position, which you'll see. I move away from the flag, and I want to lure the enemy into the open while I'm kind of in the woods. That battle goes extraordinarily well, inflict a lot of casualties on the enemy. And then in the south, of course, it's the usual slaughter that the south is. And I let the enemy come into the river and then just inflict casualties on them. One thing that is different on Major General is his artillery is a lot deadlier than it is on normal difficulty, and he inflicts some losses on one of my units with a very good artillery unit. I'm never able to really address that. So my unit takes a couple of hundred casualties, which is very expensive. And at the end of the battle, I elect to spend a lot of money. It's like maybe $20,000, but that's one reason why I have a lot of money going into every battle, and a lot of weapons in inventory, and officers, so that I can just replace anything I have to in camp. So I spend the money, which hurts. I don't like spending money. And I think it's like $20,000, and get that, pretty sure it's a 3-star unit, back up to full strength. So all my units get back up to full strength. So that skews the numbers a bit because that affects the battle results. So I don't know if, because there's only one camp and I didn't buy that many recruits. So, you know, trying to figure out how many soldiers I lost and how many were allied and how many were replaced. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to play the game and have fun. So my units all did well in this battle. There were a lot of them that got 10-1. Artillery and snipers did even better. But yeah, this battle goes amazingly well. Total casualties for this battle were just over 5,000 for me. The enemy lost about 45,000, so... So I'm going to let this this battle play out for this first day. It goes better than I thought it would. I thought the enemy... I mean, you can see the size of his units. His units are clearly scaled to my army, pretty much. I'm looking at, you know, 12, 13, 1,400, I think, throughout the battle. He certainly doesn't have anything in the 2,000 range. So that's great. That's all I want from scaling. I just want the enemy units to be about the same size mine are. He's attacking across the bridge with, right now, 2-star units, and that's great too. I'm happy to see 2-star units. Yeah, we're just going to we're going to tear him up over and over and over again. One of the things you'll see, by the way, is one of my infantry units will drift to the back to defend the artillery. In this battle, I think it's really important to defend the artillery in these two northern battles. And here you see in the northern objective that I'm kind of letting the enemy move into the open. I want to fight him there, where I can let my artillery hit his units and my infantry's in the woods and my cav can do good work. And yeah, it's just a good time. One of the things I was concerned about is he has a lot of very good cav, and his cav seems to be oversized. I don't know if that's because I'm bringing a lot of cav into this battle, or it's just supposed to be oversized. But it's oversized and it's very good. But my detached skirmishers handle those guys really well. Basically, these guys get chopped down to size. I'll let the battle play out from here. You can see how well it goes. You'll see in the southern part, one of my core army units does take damage because of an enemy artillery unit that inflicts a couple hundred casualties on it. But overall, the enemy just gets crushed north, central, and south. And actually, when the timer ran out, I was thinking, I wish I could have another 30 minutes. I'd like to counterattack in all 3 sectors, because I think I can wipe him out. And I think I could have. The enemy was clearly beaten, and I wanted to go after him, but ran out of time. And it's just as well. And then day 1 ends, you go to camp, replace your losses, and then get ready for the grand battle. And I'll see you there. Thanks.
Yes, sir!